Hello everybody, how's it going, and welcome back to another video about Assassin's Creed. Today I'm kind of getting a cold, so I sound a little bit different. Maybe I don't know. But Ubisoft put out a post on their Reddit page for Assassin's Creed asking for feedback from the fans and the community about the economics of Assassin's Creed and how things work, how rewards work, whether, you know, the missions work, whether it's satisfying, and how that all comes together. So obviously they're asking this for feedback so they can implement something into the next game that all the fans will be happy with. So what I want you guys to do is go over to the link in the description, which I will leave at the top of the description. Head over to the Reddit post, create a Reddit account if you don't already, and let them know what you want to see. I'm going to leave this video as my kind of response because I was going to do a video about this anyways, but I do want to talk about it, and I want you guys to have your say. So have your say, rather than saying in the comments where it doesn't really do anything. You can go over to this Reddit post and you can leave your thoughts and feedback over there. I'm going to leave this video as my feedback, so without further ado, let's hop right into it. So for a start, I want to talk about microtransactions. So Unity and Syndicate both had a ton of microtransactions, which meant, you know, you could purchase for real money. So you spend your own money, like off your credit card or your PayPal or whatever, and you'd go on your console and you would purchase these things called Helix credits. Now these were used for buying different equipment and weapons and armor in the game, and I get that microtransactions are a big thing and people do like to use them. You could also purchase maps and things if you didn't want to have the time of synchronizing and stuff like that, and I get that kind of stuff does, like, it can be there, like, because people do like to purchase those rather than getting them, and that's fine because that is completely optional. However, in Unity, and I didn't really look too much into it in Syndicate, but in Unity definitely, it felt quite prominent to me that, you know, the microtransactions felt very forced because you had, I understand people are going to say, you know, well, you didn't have to buy the microtransactions. I know you didn't have to, but when the best weapons in the game are like 500,000 of the in-game money, it makes it so ridiculous because to get that money, you're going to have to grind the same mission over and over and over again. I know there was one mission where you had to steal paintings. It was like a co-op mission in Unity, and I remember that was like a way of grinding to get money, and I don't feel like grinding should be how you should acquire money in games, because even, like, it doesn't feel rewarding in the slightest doing that. I think that the missions that should be included in the game should feel way more systemic and part of the world, kind of similar to Unity's Paris stories, but more systemic. So very similar to kind of how RPG games do it. So they're random missions that you come across, they give you a task, you complete the task for that person, and when you've done it you get a reward, but they're all different, like the Paris stories were, and you do these different various tasks. Some of them could be possibly longer quest lines, some of them could just be, you know, a one-off mission where you go and kill some bandits or something like that, and you get a reward for that, and it feels like you're growing as a character, feels like you're doing more in the world, more active stuff, and the world feels like alive when you do that, and you feel like accomplished when you receive that reward of money, or possibly like a weapon if it's for someone like higher up, maybe for, like, you know, the like a knight or something like that. Just an example, that's just random, but that kind of thing feels way more rewarding when you get your rewards for doing things like that, as opposed to, you know, grinding assassination contracts where you just do the same kind of mission over and over and over again. Talking about assassination contracts, and an idea that I've talked about before actually is a thing that I just recently remembered, is that I talked about this on a live stream, I think like 2 years ago or something, was that if they made the side objectives, side assassination contracts, more deep, so maybe don't have as many, but make them feel deep, kind of like how the liberation missions were on AC3, or like the main assassinations from AC1, so you get to do your little investigations beforehand, then you take out your target, and it would make the side quest feel more like alive, feel more realistic, rather than just gaining a contract, then killing the guy, and then it's like, well, that's shit, and then you do that like 50 times. If you make it feel more realistic, I'm like, the guy that you're killing is a real person, you feel like you've done something in the world, and then you feel even more rewarded when you receive that reward. Another point is that the Ezio trilogy had a perfect style of robes and customization, personally for me. So I know a lot of people loved Unity, and I don't want to take that away because I get it, and I also get the way that Syndicate tried to do it. However, I think the Ezio trilogy got it right. So you had your set robe, which was Ezio robes. I'm going to use AC2 for an example here. So you had Ezio's main robe. Then what you did with the robes is you could dye them, you could add pouches, and you could add different armor sets. There were 4 different armor sets in the game, and you acquired them as you played through the game. game, and I feel like progression of the character should feel parallel with the story. So as you progress through the story, you're getting more money, so you can buy better armor and weapons at the same time as learning new skills and growing as a character. So Ezio grew as a character at the same time as learning new skills. At the same time, you could purchase new weapons and armor. Now, I do understand that people are probably like, well, you know, that was good for a 2009 game, but now we kind of need more, and I do get that. So I think what would be good is to have the base robes, and you can add to the robes, so possibly add unique features, like you can add a cape if you want one, you can switch out your hood, you know, you can switch out, you know, braces, boots. Colors should be, I think, created by the player. So rather than having a set dyes, you should have a main color, a secondary color, and an accent color, and you can choose that from a color palette, and it makes it feel more unique to you in that case. And I think that would be really, really good. And by doing that, you go to a tailor's, that kind of thing, which I think should return. Tailors, blacksmith, bookshops, you know, medicine, like that kind of thing that was in the Ezio trilogy. That made it feel way more realistic, having these various shops spread out across the world that you could go to and get specific things from, rather than everything being in the pause menu, because then it feels like you're in a game. It doesn't immerse the player. And I think by having all these different shops and locations, it makes you travel the world and you feel great. Like when you get on your horse, you're like, right, okay, I'm gonna go to this city, I'm gonna go to this shop, this is what I need to do now. It makes you feel really immersed, rather than just pausing the game, going into character customization and selecting things to buy from the Helix menus. It's not as good and immersive as the other games used to be, and I think that's something that Assassin's Creed lost and should really, really get back. But I think also from the customization, I think we should be able to have the armor sets that we had, but also obviously different sets of things you can equip to the robe, similar possibly to the Brotherhood Revelations 3 and 4 multiplayer, how you could add things and change the outfits, possibly probably more in depth than that. However, that kind of customization added together with, you know, changing your hood, changing your braces, your like footwear, the belt, possibly capes and colors, as well as different armor sets and unique armor sets that you can get for completing special missions like the Assassin Tombs, which I think will be perfect if the game's going to be set in Egypt, just saying. That those things come together to make a perfect system of customization that feels rewarding when you're able to acquire those things. Now, I think AC4 got the economics balance spot on for me. It worked really nicely with the hunting and plundering coming into play, meaning that there were meanings to the different types of missions you were doing. However, there weren't enough types of missions. Like I'm saying before, there were set mission types. So there were naval missions, assassination contracts, etc. And it was basically doing the same thing over and over again because it was a mission type. Whereas with games like, you know, The Witcher 3 and Skyrim, and I understand they're RPGs, it's difficult to compare them, but I think taking things from RPG games would really improve the immersion for the Assassin's Creed franchise. Having, you know, let's take Skyrim for an example. You're traveling to get to, like, you know, another main mission, you come across someone who needs your help, you talk to them, they give you a task, you end up getting into this really deep storyline that you're enjoying, you didn't even know was even here, while you were trying to get to the main quest, and then you complete and you're like, whoa, I just spent like 2 hours doing this quest line, I didn't even realize I was spending my time doing it. You get a reward at the end as well, and you're like, wow, this like, it's a great way of spending your time. Like, you accidentally came across a storyline that was just amazing with all these different characters, and you go through this story that has nothing to do with the main quest, and you finish it, you have a reward of, you know, money and items, and you've had a great time playing the quest. And that's the kind of thing that I think Assassin's Creed needs. Maybe not quite as deep as that, because I understand Assassin's Creed's very different to most RPG games because it's not an RPG game, but I think borrowing those kinds of mission structures from RPG games would really, really improve the Assassin's Creed franchise. But as I was saying, the balance of the economics in Assassin's Creed 4 worked really, really well with the hunting and plundering, you know, meaning things, and that meant when you hunted things, it went towards something, either crafting something or possibly selling that or upgrading your ship. And I think if they could do something similar with the next game, it would really, really be good. And I think having lots of different missions included and all these separate missions like the Unity Paris stories, which were far better than the London stories, definitely. The Paris stories felt like these systemic side quests, whereas the London stories just felt like missions you were doing with historical figures, which felt so forced. I think, you know, that would really improve the economics in the game as a whole. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy, and I hope this gets, you know, this feedback gets seen by the developers at Ubisoft, because I know I'm voicing a lot of people in the Assassin's Creed community when I say this, but also there are people that have other ideas, and I'd love if you guys go over to that Reddit post, leave your thoughts, and let them know what you want specifically as a player, because it really does help development teams when they get to hear what the fans want, so they can focus on what people want and make the perfect game. And I'm so happy they're taking feedback, because that is what we've always wanted, and it looks like they're heading in the right direction. So good luck to Ubisoft taking this feedback and putting it into a game. And that's it for this video. If you want to subscribe, then please do so. More Assassin's Creed content coming soon. Always, it's an Assassin's Creed channel, so that's what we do. And smash the like button if you enjoyed. That always helps. And I will see you all next time. Bye!
Leaping from my places, rivers are flowing red. Now we're defying, now we're uniting. Go watching from the skies. These streets are burning up. They're starting fights here. I'm gonna take it to 'em all.